All right, we're a little bit past 7. Our aldermen are here, and we are ready to begin our meeting. Mayor's comments is first and foremost. I don't have a whole lot to say at this meeting in regard to animal control and position on pit bulls, and I'm going to save that for our next public meeting. That will be the beginning of March. We've had pit bulls at the top of the agenda in months past, and I want to revisit that at next month's meeting with my position on it, and I want to talk about what our animal control, Ms. Payton, has done in regard to that. I do stand behind our city employees and their efforts, and I want to discuss that at our next meeting. As far as comments, I don't really, again, have a whole lot. I will nonetheless continue to keep on talking. I did meet with Keith Poulter at Great River Engineering today, and we went over some preliminary numbers on the Locust Street project, and I'm beginning to have a little bit of an idea of what that's going to cost and what our capabilities are, and we're going to continue to develop that, and again, by our next Board of Aldermen meeting, I'll have some more solid figures, numbers, and we'll discuss the potentiality of loosening up some funds to move forward with that project. That's all I have to say. Are there any modifications to our agenda?
Well, I like to get like extra maybe people like, you know, Trophy Spark, they always have certain.
Aren't you insured something out on the agenda for the car show?
Yeah. Have something to do
Hey.
with that.
Kale,
Okay, you gotta get back in there.
who started?
I think, Mr. Mayor, they was wanting to address you about a car show.
Sure.
No, just right there.
We are putting on a car show on August the 11th, and we need some assistance for the, like the trophies and a few other, and some of the flyers. Almost everything is all taken care of. We have the park reserved already, and there's about maybe 60, 70 cars already coming to the show. And that'll pay for, everything's gonna go to charity. Some of it's going to Joplin, some of it's going to local charities around the area. And it's it'll bring people to the city, you know. They come here, they're gonna spend money. It'll be a good revenue thing for the city. And they wanna make it a local thing every year, you know. They got a flyer somewhere. Look at the flyer.
We got a rough draft.
It's a rough draft.
Here's what we have.
Who do I show it again?
Mayor,
You can start that in and we can pass it down.
But they need maybe $250 to finish up with what they got. And I figured that, you know, the people will get a lot of spectators. There'll be a lot of people coming in. I did the raffle thing. 2 years ago I tried this, and the former mayor shot it down. Because he was working with me, he said we wanted you guys to do something else. You know, and we turned us down because we couldn't afford it, I guess. But now almost everything is all taken care of. And I think it'll be good.
Have you got your insurance lined up for it yet and everything?
They're working on that right now. They'll have insurance on the thing, and I worked the car shows. I promoted them for 10 years in California, and I'm helping them out a lot. And that's one thing that I told them they needed was insurance. Because we had one incident one time where one of the guys, this was with the car club, one of our members of our car club was parking a guy and he backed him up into a pipe. And if we wouldn't have had insurance, he could have sued everybody, you know.
And you've already filled out the application and submitted it?
I don't know if they have or not.
No, yeah, we're still working on it. We're trying to get somebody to help sponsor on that. Got a couple. We got another car club that couldn't make it down, and they threw on 4 big shows down in Ozark. Show Me Showdown. They know how to do all that. They're talking to the insurance people. One of them's family members with the insurance guy. So
Again, while I agree with you, would be great for the community, and the park is, you know, free to use, once the application's filled out and approved, and there shouldn't be any obstacles to approving your application. You do what you're supposed to do, and we'll do what we're supposed to do, but we don't have any money budgeted for, to donate anything to this. It would be nice if we did, but unfortunately, we don't. And I sincerely apologize. But, we'll be happy to maintain the park and make sure it's ready to go for your use once we get your application and everything's approved and ready to go.
Yeah, we might need like maybe a couple of outhouses. Would you guys be able to do that?
No, there are restrooms there available, but the park board, that's under their control. So you would need, or I'm sorry, the fair board. And I believe the fair board, my understanding in the past, they'll let people use those, but they require a deposit. And I think last time they were asking like $1,000 for the deposit on that.
It's returned.
Yeah, if you return the restrooms clean like you found them, the deposit would be returned. But that's between, you and the fair board. That the city doesn't have anything to do with that.
Yeah, I went around, I've got raffle prizes from a lot of the merchants, and this will all be, we raffle off dinners, permanents, haircuts, whatever, and sell raffle tickets for $1 a piece. And all that money is going back into the charities. And so it's a win-win situation.
Yeah, I would say just go ahead and fill out your application and submit it, and then the park's for you to use, as long as the application is filled out.
Where would we get the application?
City Hall, did they come to City Hall? Come up to City Hall and get the
Yeah,
application.
during the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were wondering about if they could like maybe have a little cruise the night before to kind of bring some of these people in. There's gonna be people come from out of town and they're gonna stay in motels and whatever, overnight.
A
And
cruise like in Branson, a parade?
yeah,
cruise or
going
something?
down 65 and loop around somewhere like 73 and come back around.
Okay, Sam, I think, can you help him with that if the application goes through? Okay, go with the
Yeah.
chief of police.
Yeah, as long as it's like, a parade form, if we're,
Yeah.
it doesn't get too out of hand, cause I know how some of them can be.
As long as the Hells Angels don't show up. we're
Right.
okay.
Yeah, we did that out in California and it was a big success, It drew a lot of people in and, and it's gonna be a good
and we
thing.
have people coming from Oklahoma. We have people coming from Arkansas. Yeah, Branson. We have a few people from Texas coming. So it's gonna be pretty huge.
The Dallas County Car Club informed me that they probably won't be putting on a show this year. They're lucky if the car club is gonna be surviving after this year. And we're meeting with them on the 3rd Thursday of next month, and they're gonna assist us in this, and they will probably be helping out at the show also.
Well, thank you, sir.
Mhm.
Does anyone have anything else for modifications as far as the agenda is concerned? All right, I don't see anything. Any citizen comments? I see none. All right, minutes and bills.
Okay, if there's no changes, then I'll make a motion that we accept minutes and bills as written.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 That motion passes. Department head reports, gonna go a little bit out of order. At this time, I wanna start with Mr. Payton, the wastewater treatment plant.
I just wanted to bring you guys up to date on a couple of things. I sent you the note about the mistake that I made and when I missed the 3 manholes. I'm asking that you guys go ahead and add them into the list that you already have, and then vote on the new amount that the company is supposed to be taking care of, and they're supposed to be on site tomorrow to start the work.
So it'll bring it up to $12,972,
That's correct.
is your total.
Is there a motion to approve that?
I was going to ask if you want to take that out of order. I'll make a motion that we approve the $12,972.
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 That motion passes.
We've also started working on well number 3. The street department came in and poured the slab for us, and so it's ready to go. We've got the building ordered, 68-week delivery time. I contacted the company about inspecting tower that's on site there at number 3. He said it'd be the middle of March or late March before he can actually get in and look at the tower and see what's going on. But it is scheduled and they will be doing it. We've also started on smoke testing. We've sent out about 30 letters so far, and out of the 30, in one day I've received 6 responses. So that the people are actually taking care of the problem, and I've inspected all of these. So things are progressing in a good direction. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Payton with Animal Control.
We've had to close the pound down for about 12 days due to a parvo outbreak. That is the only way we can control that. We can't keep accepting animals in until we can clean the facility and destroy the virus. And of course, that's a highly contagious and pretty devastating virus. And unfortunately, it's in our community. I've talked to our local vet, and he's talking about the public also having it. And I'm afraid because of the mild conditions this winter, that we're gonna see that a lot in the future. There was something else. Oh, I wanted to thank the street department that came down. You know, we've had an ongoing problem with the drain. There's one main drain in the kennels, and we did everything to it. We had the plumbers come, they put acid down the drain. It just would not work. And we couldn't use water down it. We couldn't hose for about 3 weeks. And finally, the fellas came down and they used the jetter. You name it, we tried it. And the consensus of opinion was we're just gonna reroute the drain. It was probably messed up at the time of the construction of the treatment plant. You know, they knocked a lot of services out when they built that thing behind my office. So the fellas came down and very promptly and very quickly got that. They rerouted the drain and we're in business now. So I really appreciate them responding so quickly and taking care of it.
Did you make a formal complaint to the supervisor of the wastewater
I
treatment
did.
plant? Okay.
Yeah.
Several times.
Ms. Payton, would you give us an update a little bit about the state inspection that occurred? most
Oh,
recently?
yes, yeah, I'm glad you reminded me of that. We did have the inspector come, and what I need to do is kind of take you back in time a little bit. When Mayor Hardesty was here, we had a go-around with the Department of Ag regarding sealing the concrete, providing some stuff for the pound. And I don't know if some of you gentlemen remember it, but there was a time lag there where one inspector left and another one left right on the heels of it. So last year, they just issued us a license because their departments, this is my opinion, okay? They issued us a license because their inspectors and their situation was quite in turmoil. So they rehired, and the girl came at the end of the year. She came back because she was kind of playing catch up, and she was checking us for violations from the year before. And so they're getting really tough on the pounds. She admitted to me that they were going to be very, going to start really. She said we went after the breeders because of Proposition B, and now we're going after the pounds. So we've passed most things, but we've got the things that she is requiring of me to do paperwork-wise is going to be quite tedious, and it's in animal identification. To give you an extreme, to me, I think it's an extreme example. You know, our kennels are enclosed, and we have an exhaust system, we have lights. And our dog houses weren't facing the right way. They needed a windbreak. And I said to her, our kennels, when you walk in a kennel, the dog house is right there where you can look in it. And she said that was not adequate, and they wrote us up for a level 4 violation. And if she'd given me 2 minutes, I could have turned all the dog houses. They need to turn towards the wall. And I said, well, you know, the kennel, we shut the kennel up in inclement weather. She said, do you have ventilation? I said, yeah, it's right there. And she said, do you have lights? I said, yeah, they're right here. She said, I don't care, you're in violation. It's just a picky point, okay? So, when they put us, so the other thing they want is they want fire, smoke alarms in every building, so I'll talk to the fire department about that. But the tedious work with the animal identification, because we have an outside, basically outside facility, weather affects it, is very tedious. She made the statement to me, you need the council to tell you, give you relief from animal control for 3 days a week, just so you can do what I need you to do. And I laughed, I said, oh really? So it's just to give you an idea, the paperwork end of it, the identification end of it, the things that you have to do that they're gonna be looking for is very detailed now. And but after she pretty much made me feel like a crumb, because I've been doing this for, what, 18 years, and she, you know, my paperwork's always been fine, I've never had a problem with any of that. They're reevaluating that, how it's to be done, and all those things have to be changed. And when she got done, she did say, as she left, she says, don't get discouraged, you're the best run city pound I've ever seen. But they were really tough. We had 3 pages of suggestions, recommendations. We had 2 faults though, and that was the smoke alarms and the dog houses.
They sealed that last year.
Yeah, and we have to seal it this spring. We have to seal it twice a year, and that won't be a problem. We can do that ourselves. It's very easy for us to do.
Are the dogs trained to follow the exit signs once the smoke alarm goes off?
And fire extinguishers. Like if the alarm goes off, somebody's gonna hear it.
Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Payton with animal control? And does anyone have any questions for Mr. Payton with the sewer department? This time I'll excuse you from our meeting. I know you guys have exited circumstances to handle, and I thank you for your attendance and participation this evening. All right, administration.
Any questions?
No questions for the administration. Building inspection, sir.
I don't have much to add. A report. This month we had no inspections whatsoever on new permits that we had. Although we did have quite a few dangerous building inspections taken care of. And 3 stop work orders, and that's about it. Things are looking up a little bit. I mean, you hear the words that people are gonna start doing stuff, but right now they're just kind of holding off and back up.
Actions speak louder than words.
Yes.
Any questions for our building inspector? All right, fire department, sir.
Got nothing more than what's on our agenda. Anybody got any questions?
Any questions for our fire chief? Parks and recreation?
Not really much more, just gonna say thank you to Roger and Jennifer for helping get the O'Bannon Center, getting ready to get it painted and stuff, and all the paint taken off. It's been a nice project.
And sir, I want to thank you publicly as well for being on top of that. And Mr. Jasper, I thank you for lending our Parks Director assistance with that. And Jennifer Robson, she is not here. She has worked very diligently with our Park Director in order to continue the good work at the O'Bannon Center. The exterior went neglected for the longest time. Concrete, as we all know, is porous, and because of the lack of sufficient paint or a barrier on the outside, water seeps in through that concrete and has caused the interior paint to bubble and peel, and can cause issues with mold, et cetera. We've, for the most part, stripped the interior, and we're preparing to treat it and add coats of paint and gussy it up and make it pretty and something that we can all be proud of as far as a community. So, Mr. Hurd, I thank you for your efforts. Does anyone have any questions of our park director? I see none. Police department.
Well, we had 109 calls for service, 78 citations, and only one vehicle accident, which I'm proud of that. Had 35 arrests, had 6 assaults, 5 stealing, 4 warrants, 3 trespass, and 2 each of resisting arrest, possession of alcohol by minor, and property destruction. The rest of the 35 were just one incident apiece. And then I turned in my fuel report.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any questions of our chief of police? Street and water department.
The only thing I've got in to bring up, I wanted to talk to you about the blacktop, getting that time of year. You know, I wanted to see, I've got like 5 blocks here in town that we need to do, and then Alberta Street. And then, I mean, I can do more, but I just did as least as I could. There's some streets that really need it, and we promised. And I wanted to see if it was okay to get bids on those. To be 1 block off 2, let's see, 1 block on Poplar, 1 block on Mill, 1 on Cedar, and then Alberta Street and those turnarounds. Cause we promised those people last year we'd redo it and then blacktop it this year. And I'd like to get those done if I could.
Okay.
And I can get bids on it. I can't tell you exactly the amount to the penny, but I can tell you what it's gonna cost a ton, and then I can give you a rough estimate of what it's gonna, how much it's gonna take, you know, at the next meeting.
Same process as last year.
Well, I hope
Last year we had bids from Jernigan and APAC, is that correct?
that's correct. I just had to call them and, you know, give them a look at it, tell me, this little fuel's shooting up again, so it's, you know, it's gonna cost quite a bit for the blacktop. I mean, it's the cost of the fuel over the trucking and the handling of it, you know.
Right.
That's all I've got. I mean, well, everybody, I don't know if everybody knows I got a new hand today. He started working. He seemed like he was, you know, gonna be sure okay.
Well, it is his first day.
Well, I know. And, you know, he just seemed like a nice fella. I mean, he acts like he's interested, he wants to learn, and, you know, he asked a million questions. So that's more than most.
Correct. Did anyone have any issues
So I've got those.
with Mr. Jasper seeking bids for asphalt? Go ahead and get her done. And does anyone have any questions of our street department? Yes, sir.
A couple people asked me what we did, what's a Rolla truck doing here today?
Pardon?
Truck from Rolla. Says City of Rolla going around helping with snow.
I never did see that truck.
Is that right?
It didn't help me. I mean, the 2 trucks, all I had, the little ton truck and a big white truck, so the trucks I know anything of. I don't think, my knowledge, they wasn't a truck that was Rolla.
It's just other business with our,
Where were they seen at?
front of our office. It was a small truck with a half grader on it or something.
Okay.
Was it for repairs?
City
Was it for repairs?
City of Buffalo, that little white truck going.
Is it white?
No, it's kind of, brush colored or orange.
I wonder if that might have been one of the county's endeavors, or perhaps MoDOT acquired it for some reason.
I think it belongs to the park.
I don't know who it was, but if you see him, Paul, then we appreciate it, do all the work they were doing. We really appreciate it.
And Paul, someone probably, you came with the most likely solution is that the city of Rolla had it surplus and then sold it, and someone in private enterprise bought it and was go and clean their driveways for their private business, which we had to find them to find out if they're licensed in Bonneville City.
JD Shoemaker, we'll check him out.
Yeah.
Saw JD at the gas station today.
He was doing that by hand.
I see you out there.
Yeah. Any other questions for our street department? I see none. Tax collection report. Any questions regarding tax collection? Any comments? All right, moving right along, water adjustments.
I'll make a motion to accept the water adjustments as written.
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 That motion passes. Old business, we have a budget revision for the fiscal year ending 9/30/12. The basis for that budget revision was to move some money from the transportation fund to fund the road department, and move money that was previously provided to the road department from general revenue to the police department for the purchase of 2 new vehicles in the approximate amount of
Well, it actually moves $28,000 into the general fund's budget, and then allocates $28,000 into the police department's capital budget.
Okay. And, based on that, we need a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion that we approve the budget revision.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 That motion passes. Ace Pipe Cleaning adding to the scope of the work, that was, what Mr. Payton had for us, and we've already approved that, is that correct?
Yeah.
New business, we have the McCoy land donation. Alderman Rieschel approached me, with Charles and Penny McCoy. They came to me with the discussion of, some lots they wanted to get rid of. That they mentioned the potentiality of providing that to the city. I mentioned to them the possibility of providing that to Habitat for Humanity. Habitat for Humanity considered it, and Habitat decided they did not want the properties. So the question is, would the city want to take them? From the outset, it's a liability. One would wonder, why would we want to take on these properties? We're gonna have to mow and maintain them. The other side of it is, there are 4 lots that butt the end of Birch Street and Chestnut Street, and it's the property. I have a map here, and I'll show that, pass that around here in a moment. The property directly behind MFA. There is a creek, a waterway that runs to the north edge of those properties and provides a natural boundary between MFA and those lots. My thought was perhaps the 2 cul-de-sacs at Chestnut Street and Birch Street can be connected and connect with Cottonwood by providing a street in there and using that for water maintenance. They give us an opportunity to get in there as a city and maintain that as a waterway. Of course, we're talking about spending money. The other side of it is maybe the people on Chestnut and Birch like their quiet cul-de-sac without traffic going through there. I think acquiring the lands would certainly open up possibilities. Again, acquiring lands can open up liabilities as much as our requirements to maintain it. These would be provided to the city at no cost, and the city would have to accept that as a donation. I believe Mr. Rieschel has volunteered to do the closing at no cost for the city of Buffalo. Is that correct, Mr. Rieschel?
I didn't realize it, but yeah.
That's awful wet nature you're in, Roger.
Thank you, sir.
Can you do anything with that, Roger?
I know we can get stuck there in July and August when lower. that's how wet it is. I mean, you know, it's just, see every that water plant hill comes to that point, it's the lowest part, and hit that creek, it stays wet. I know, well, whenever Larry Peters had it, he got stuck in there several times. We'd go out there to the back home, pull him out. You know, he'd get stuck in brush off in July and August. So that kind of tells the person what kind of property you got.
If it's not gonna do the city any good, we don't want it. You know, and Roger, I suppose, is the one that would know that.
Is it like a spring or something, or is it just all the
It's
water?
where all the water goes.
Shed?
It's just, at the lowest point, you know, Bob, and it, all the water from first top the hill drains out of that hill and comes to that point, and it just stays wet all the time, it never dries up.
That's what I was
And when that
thinking.
little creek gets up real big, we got it kinda now where it don't do it as bad, but I've seen water go through those houses, and it's already there,
Uh-huh.
and, I mean, it backs up to those houses.
And we probably don't.
So you could you build some kind of a drainage to keep that from
That's what I
building
was
that?
I
thinking.
mean, a guy can go in there, like the mayor said, we can spend a lot of money and make it, you know, make it usable, but it'll cost a lot of bit of money.
Can we just put a big ditch in there and let it,
Well,
let that
you
water
ditch it.
flow?
There's a ditch right there through it now kindly, but it's still,
I mean,
that
we
one
could
part
always,
just stays wet.
Okay, it
There's
sounds
no
like there's-
springs or something in there where
Sounds
the
like a
water
spring.
comes out
Yeah,
and it just stays wet.
if anything, we could widen that ditch.
Yeah, we
and-
could do,
And make a better condition for the neighbors surrounding.
yeah, I mean, we could go in and open that ditch up if we had, you know, had some room there
How you
to work
gonna,
with.
how you gonna open that up with where the road is down through there?
Well, that's the only thing, you get down to Hickory Street and that bridge is
That's what
only
I'm
so big
getting
as Hickory, and then whenever you get there to Rex Shoemaker's
Mhm.
on McDaniel, it's, only so big. It's gonna go back so much water, no matter how much we turn to it. Either way you go there.
We just don't wanna get a letter from the mayor that we're not maintaining it.
Why don't we have the building inspector look at it, see what he says?
I can go with him and show him, you know, I will lead David forward. I mean, I'll be more than glad to take him to show him. Jimmy pretty well knows that land, he's,
Yeah, I dug I built a house up the street there, it's third house up, and it was for sale, I went down there, it was in August. I dug a 16-inch hole, the driest part of the year. The next morning, when I went back, it's almost 3 inches of water in it. Yeah, that's
It-
pretty good.
And I've been out there with our building inspector to look it over, and what's your opinion? I mean, we don't wanna build our new city hall there. I guess the question, would it be worthwhile to accept that land, to dig the ditch, which could benefit the neighboring homes? But that's gonna leave us perhaps the liability of maintaining it.
I think it's probably gonna be safe, of course, just to say thank you, but no thank you. Because it sounds like, to me, that sounds like there's a spring in there. If it's in July and August with no rain around, there's a spring, and that's gonna take a bunch of work to get that all taken
yeah,
care
I
of.
don't think we're allowed to haul dirt in it and build it up or do anything like that on account of, it being a floodplain.
And I think we also have a
I
problem with
think that's
DNR about
right, I
that
don't
up
know.
for the creek. You know, so,
It's up, I mean, I don't care a bit, I mean, we can, you know, it's up to Jim, you know.
I mean, I personally appreciate the, you know, the offer of the gift, but I'm afraid that if we take it, we're going to tie up taxpayers' money that could be better used in another location.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Thank you, but no.
Is there a motion?
Do we need a motion for that? Okay, I'll make a motion that we don't take advantage of the offer.
Is there a second?
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. The city will not express any future interest.
Now, that wouldn't go through your walking trail, would it go through the wood anyway?
Possibly, if anything, it would enhance our ability to gain grant money to improve the system as an existing water way. But I don't think it's gonna have any actual impact or bearing on it when the time comes, and we're a ways away from that. All right. We have resolution number 2012-01, resolution of governing body of applicants. Ms. Olson, will you brief us on that?
This is just telling DNR that Andrew's the mayor so that we can proceed with spending the funds that we have left.
I could write them a personal letter if,
They want it in this form.
I mean, I'd sign the letter.
I'll make a motion that we accept resolution 2012-01.
Is there a second?
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes. We have ordinance 2012-01, ordinance enacting a new section 215-120 and 215-.130 related to obedience of law enforcement officers and suspects to identify themselves. Again, Ms. Paulson, will you give us a brief overview of
Talking to
that?
the wrong person, I don't have a clue.
Sir?
Yeah, I was gonna let Travis explain that.
Sir?
Travis? You just jump around.
Did they not give you a copy? No. Save
Travis drafted the ordinance in my defense.
Okay.
Basically, it just looks like that when the police officer asks you your name, you're supposed to tell them what your name is.
Is this as,
You sent it to
as
me.
drafted? Okay.
Yes, exactly. I put a bill number in there, other than that, it's what you sent me.
Basically the idea here is currently under the existing code, the ordinance reads under the traffic code for individuals to have to identify themselves. And the chief asked me to look into drafting an ordinance that would require someone, if they're stopped, to identify themselves. And that's basically what this does, is this requires someone, if they're stopped upon reasonable suspicion, for the individual to identify themselves. That's it, it's that simple. The other part of this, that's .130. .120, currently under the traffic code, there is a section that basically says that people have to obey lawful orders of police officers. We recently had a case where there was a call for service and had an individual not obey the orders of one of the police department's officers. That did go to trial, and the ruling was that the judge thought that the individual was guilty of failing to obey, but because it was under the traffic section of the municipal code, they found her not guilty. And so this is basically a reiteration of that section outside of the traffic code. So if a law enforcement officer directs someone upon a stop or subject to arrest, that they would have to obey the orders of the law enforcement officer. Is that clear as mud? I apologize, I didn't know that that was on the agenda tonight.
I'll make a motion, we accept bill number 12-01 for first reading.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
We have some discussion.
Okay, I'll make them, oh, go ahead.
What's the penalty?
It would be under the regular penalty section of the city code, which is up to 3 months in jail and or $500. So the basic penalty section would apply, as all other municipal ordinances.
Make a motion, we go with a second reading and a final passage.
I don't think we reached a conclusion with our first vote.
Oh,
We're waiting on Mr. Rachel and Mr. George.
oh, okay, never mind, withdraw.
No, I'm just not ready to pass it yet, for me, but, you know,
You're the lawyer.
Yea or nay?
I'm a nay.
Nay, okay.
Mr. George?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that motion passes.
Okay. And your reserve on it, Wayne, is because of the lack of the mention of the
Well,
penalty?
no, I'm just a little bothered that there might be some folks out there that fall into a crack. I mean, it seems a little broad to me. You know, any person who willfully fails to pursue crime and lawful order, you know, if you're walking down the street and, he says, move over, I'm not sure I wanna see 3 months in jail. And it may be fine. That's just what I would wanna think about.
Just for clarification, that's the language explicitly as it's written currently in the code for
Okay.
120.
Oh, I understand.
You just moved it over to the general and said
I
that.
have not moved it.
Oh, okay.
There's still a provision under the traffic section that reads just the same as this. This is an addition, yes.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's not bad, I'm just saying I'm not ready.
Okay, okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead, since we got, I want to make a motion for a second reading and a final passage.
Is there a second to that motion?
Oh, I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm gonna suspend.
Nay.
Aye.
That motion passes.
Wait, we can abstain on what grounds?
I just don't understand it good enough. I don't think until I mean, it's just that way, like the last time I sustained one dog. If I don't fully understand something, I just don't vote yes or no.
Is it okay?
Open vote.
Open vote's okay? Okay.
That motion passes. Do we have a motion to go into closed meeting?
I'll make a motion that we go into closed meeting pursuant to section 610.021, paragraph 3, for personnel.
Is there a second?
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 That motion passes.
Would it be okay if we left now?
Yes, sir, yes, sir. Yes.
Would you like your flyer?
Yes, please.
We're gonna take a short recess and then we'll be in closed session.